Okay guys, it's 2 a.m. I was exporting today's episode. I was getting ready to go to sleep, but I had to stop it because Niantic finally talked. They posted this message on the Pokemon Go Facebook page. Trainers, as many of you know, we recently made some changes to Pokemon Go. We've removed the 3-step display in order to improve upon the underlying design. The original feature, although enjoyed by many, was also confusing and did not meet our underlying product goals. We will keep you posted as we strive to improve this feature. So that's it. They finally said it. It's coming back. The tracking system is coming back. They're just working on improving it. So, they don't say when or how they're planning on improving it, but guys, at least they said something. This is huge. They also go on to say, we've limited access by third-party services which were interfering with our ability to maintain quality of service for our users and to bring Pokemon Go to users around the world. Now, that's a little bit more vague. They're saying that they shut down sites like Pokevision because it was interfering with their ability to bring the game to users around the world. Somehow, they're trying to blame Pokevision for them not being able to release the game globally yet. I'm not so sure about that one. It sounds kind of like an excuse. But again, at least they said something. This is a huge first step. They also said, we want you to know that we've been working crazy hours to keep the game running as we continue to launch globally. If you haven't heard us tweeting much, it's because we've been heads down working on the game, but we'll do our best going forward to keep you posted on what's going on. So, at least they acknowledge that they haven't said anything, that they haven't been communicating. They say they're going to do their best going forward. That's not really a promise. That doesn't mean we're going to get daily updates now. But again, at least they said something, guys. We did it. We got a response, and hopefully they keep it up. Hopefully they've learned from this that we do need to be kept in the loop. We do need to be updated, and we do need things explained to us. We want to know what's going on, and we want to know why things are changing. Anyway, back to today's episode. Today I'm at Ford Park in Bell Gardens. It's a Bulbasaur nest, and I've already found the first one. But besides just catching Bulbasaurs, I have a few eggs to hatch, and I want to continue the conversation about all these new updates and changes that Niantic's been pushing out. But first, okay, here's Bulbasaur number 2. Now, one thing I've been saying, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, is that curveball physics are a little different. I've noticed you have to throw the ball further to the side in order to get it to curve back. And obviously Niantic didn't tell us why they made these changes. But if I had to guess, it has something to do with the accidental curveball issue that people were experiencing, where they would try to throw the ball straight and it would curve. They had to change the curveball physics in order to stop that from happening. Again, that's just my guess, but it seems like the most logical explanation at this point. It also seems like, and I'm sure a lot of you have noticed this as well, Pokemon are harder to catch.
The other one, get the other one, get the other one.
These guys know what time these Bulbasaurs are despawning. There are a couple apps that are still working for tracking Pokemon. I'm not going to go into it right now because I'm still not sure exactly what's going on with them. I know they're circumventing some of the ways that Niantic was trying to prevent these apps from working. But until we get an official stance from Niantic, an official reason for shutting them down, I'm just not going to get into it. So, as I was saying, with the last Bulbasaur, catch rate. We do have some concrete data on catch rate now. And this is taken straight from the game's code. Each Pokemon has a set catch rate, but that catch rate doesn't necessarily mean every time you throw a ball at it, you're gonna have that chance of catching it. It's sort of like a standardized rate, the same way that Pokemon have base stats. And there are a lot of modifiers that go into it beyond that. We do have confirmation that nice, great, and excellent throws do increase your chances of catching a Pokemon, as does a curveball. And I'm going to go into the details of this in an upcoming episode, but for now, yes, curveballs do increase your chance of catching a Pokemon, and so do nice, great, and excellent throws. That's 4 now. Okay, here comes Bulbasaur number 5. 370. So, again, on catch rate, we know the color of the circle indicates how difficult a Pokemon is to catch. As far as we can tell right now, a red circle means less than 25% chance of catching. Orange means 25 to 35%, and green means higher than 35%. So, green doesn't really mean you have a good chance of catching it, it just means it's more than 35%. Since the footsteps were removed from the tracker, a lot of people think that the list is still in order of closest to farthest, but that's just not the case. If you look here, you'll see Rattata, Ponyta, Paris at the top of my list, but there's an Ekans and a Pidgey who spawned on my map. Ekans isn't even on the list. So, myth busted on that one. They're just in arbitrary order. And it's not even necessarily the 9 Pokemon nearest to you, because I'm not seeing that Ekans there. I don't know, Niantic, tell us what's going on. While we're talking about the tracker, one thing that people thought early on was that this green pulse that you see once in a while indicated that you were facing the right direction and moving towards a Pokemon you were tracking. We're still seeing this green pulse, even now that this tracker has been completely disabled. So, what does it really mean? Oh, and look at that, another Bulbasaur. Perfect. But really, what is the green pulse? If it had something to do with the tracker in the first place, could it mean that some function of the tracker is still working? And if it's still working with the tracker completely disabled, did it mean anything to begin with? It's just another one of those things that Niantic isn't explaining at all. We start digging into the game to find out more about the mechanics, and they start shutting us down. They start telling people, oh, you can't do that, you can't find out where Pokemon are spawning. We just want to know how it works. To be completely honest, I never had a lot of faith in Niantic as a game design company. I think the infrastructure that they created with Ingress is amazing, but as far as game design goes, I think they need a lot of help, and a lot of work, and a lot of practice. That's just my opinion. Another thing that happened with this update that has some people pretty upset is that Battery Saver was removed from iOS versions of the game. It's still here on Android, and if you're unfamiliar, all it does is make your screen go black when you put your phone upside down. And ironically, my battery just went low. As far as why they removed it on iOS, I have no idea. So, again, Niantic, just explain things. Explain what you're doing. It's not hard. It's starting to get dark, but my eggs are about to hatch, and I want you guys to be around for this. So they say 5.0, but you go in and they're actually 4.99, so maybe a few more steps. It should take about a minute, because like I've said, the game doesn't update the distance on your eggs that frequently. Even though I've walked 0.01 kilometers since I've been talking to you, the game hasn't checked that yet. Okay, the eggs are hatching. This is 9 5-kilometer eggs right now. And I'm getting to the point where I can start evolving a lot of the things that hatch from 5-kilometer eggs, but I haven't yet, because I'm looking for things with higher IVs. As we've discovered from previous research, Pokemon hatched from eggs have a higher chance of having better IVs, and that chance increases up until level 20. At level 20, your eggs aren't going to get any better. So if you want to wait to hatch eggs, level 20 is a good time to do it. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's dependent on when you hatch the egg or when you receive it from the Pokestop. So there might be no point in waiting. You might just want to hatch them as you get them. It's something to look into in the future. So when I get home, I'm going to go check all the IVs of these Pokemon that I just hatched. The method that I explained in a previous video for finding exact IVs doesn't work anymore because Niantic prevents you from accessing the game data that you need now. There are some ways of doing it. There's one website called PokeAdvisor that was working for me earlier yesterday, but hasn't been working today, so I'm not going to officially endorse it until I can check up on it again. But when I get home, I'm gonna look into it and see how it works. Oh, my phone just died. Oh no, oh my god, I better not lose the recording. Phone's dead, not much else I can do here. Let's head back to the lab. Well, my screen recording didn't save, but you already knew that because you didn't see it. Here are the 9 Pokemon that I hatched, and what I'm gonna do now is find their exact IVs using a new method. It's a site called PokeAdvisor.com. Before I show you how it works, I should warn you, it pulls data straight from the game, and as we've found out recently, Niantic doesn't like that. So there's a chance that you could get in trouble for using this site. Just a warning. Once you're logged in, the site actually shows you a lot of stats. It gives you the number of Pokemon you've caught, your capture rate, how many balls you've thrown. It tells you if your Gym Defender bonus is ready, and it actually has some really cool rankings. You can see on the level leaderboard who's number 1, 34. Only one Team Instinct player in the top 20. You guys, we need to do something about that. Here I am ranked at 61,307. And honestly, considering there's like 80 million people playing this game, I'm pretty okay with that. And then it gives you some interesting stats at the bottom, like how many people are on each team. And Instinct, we are the underdogs, but to be honest, that's one of the main reasons I joined the team. I like being on the underdog team. The real reason I want to show you this site is because it gives you the exact IVs of your Pokemon. So, if you remember, my Vaporeon does have perfect 15 IVs, and if you click on a Pokemon, it pulls up the details and gives you the IVs for each stat. So what I want to do is go through my Pokemon, and I've decided that I'm only going to train and evolve Pokemon with 80% or better IVs. So what I'm doing is going through and favoriting the Pokemon with higher than 80% IVs so that I know those are the ones that I'm going to power up and evolve eventually when I have enough candies to do that. So of the Pokemon that I just hatched, I see Drowsy has 88.9% perfection. I see the Nidoran with 476 CP has 86.7% perfection. I already have a Primeape that has higher perfection than the Mankey I just hatched. Staryu has 82% perfection. This Magmar has 84% perfection, but because it's such a low level right now, it might not be worth it to keep that and power it up because it is going to cost me a lot of Stardust. So in this case, I might be better off waiting until I catch a Magmar with comparable IVs, but that comes to me at a higher level than this one is. So that's PokeAdvisor. Really great site, super helpful for finding IVs, and it's cool if you want to find out how you rank against other people playing the game. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I know I didn't cover a whole lot of new information in this episode, but I just felt like there was a lot more to say about some of the changes that were made with the last update. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the changes so we can continue the discussion. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
With such a decline in players, if Niantic wants to hold their fan base, they need to either fix the tracking list or allow third-party developers to come out with their own app to help us.
At the very least, they need to listen. This is clearly what people want. And if their plans are to remove tracking altogether from the app, they need to tell us that. Niantic, you can't stay silent on this.